as you know, I was introduced to the patch by my good friend Ellen, not singer, and before I'd had some pretty serious health challenges. I was born with a extra conduction pathway in my heart, and for years and years, it was no problem. But the potential for a serious problem was always with me. Your heart beats with electricity, and I had an extra conduction pathway in my heart, and it's about the size of a human hair. And uh, with my luck, less than 1/10 of 1% of the people that are born with that ever become symptomatic. Well, I defied the odds and had some problems, and while driving, I passed out, and thankfully woke up on the other side of the road unharmed, and ended up being hospitalized. And to make a long story short, in an attempt to remove the alternate conduction pathway, my normal conduction pathway, my AV node, was destroyed by lasers, and they slapped an external pacemaker on me and sent me across the country to the University of California, San Francisco Medical Center, where they were able to keep me alive with pacemakers. With a pacemaker, it literally generates my heartbeat now. I've had 3. I'm getting ready before too long to be on my 4th.
Your fourth pacemaker since you were how old?
38.
Okay, so from 38 to 68, you're now on your 4th.
Well,
pacemaker.
No, not yet, but
almost. Yes.
Almost.
Okay, and so what happened with your weight and other things that started developing in your health?
Well, having been an athlete at a young age, I ate a lot. Never had a problem eating a lot, but in my profession, I wasn't nearly as active, and I kept on eating a lot, and I got big. And I've always been big. In the 8th grade, I was 6'4", weighed 220, and but I got up well over 300 pounds just in the course of living and eating well and sedentary lifestyle.
So let's talk about the neuropathy that you had and
yes,
the deterioration so that we can move into what happened with your parents and going forward.
Right. I in my late 30s, I developed just a terrible pain in the bottom of my feet. And because of what happened with my heart, I had a lot of skepticism and distrust toward doctors in particular. And I just thought I'd suck it up and live with it. And, but it was really seriously bothering me. And
so then you started to caretake for your parents, and
yes,
what happened further after that?
After retirement, my mother started showing signs of Alzheimer's disease, and my dad had suffered a major heart attack while he and my mom were in South Africa on vacation. And was so they were both in dire straits. I didn't want them to end up being in a nursing home. I'm sure there's some wonderful skilled nursing homes out there, but I never had seen one I'd want to live in. And I owed it to my parents to take care of them when they needed me. So I is first my mother, and seeing her through a long, drawn out, bedridden over 2 years, seeing her through to her demise. And then my dad was at the point to where he needed me, and was getting to be a little bit forgetful, but I think nothing more than the norm for people his age. But
so let me guide you a little bit into
sure,
these points are, because what you had shared with me is that you caretaked your parents as a caregiver for about 6 years, and you ended up on a lot of meds because
right.
you had so much pain with your knee and your hip and the arthritis. And that was it true that you gained another 100 pounds and then you were over 400 pounds?
I was so focused on my parents that I neglected myself. And I got up to, I think the highest I ever weighed was like 421 pounds. And
And so then you finally went to the doctor, is that right? Because you were really deteriorating, and then you got a diagnosis of being diabetic, correct?
that's correct. My cardiologist asked me who my primary care physician was. I said I didn't have one. He said, well, you have to have one. He recommended one. And this doctor told me that I was diabetic, which explained the neuropathy.
Right. And because you hadn't been to the doctor, because you had a fear of the doctors, because you
Right.
almost got, killed from the operation, now you're finding out what's going on. And then you were also noticing that you had progressive brain fog. And then you were having prostate issues and getting up and urinating all the time. And so you were on drugs and FlowMax. Is all that what was happening?
That's correct. The brain fog was really disturbing to me because I could sense it. I knew it was coming on and gradually getting worse. And my mother died of Alzheimer's, and so did her father, my grandfather. And
Right.
and the FlowMax, I thought that was, I mean, the prostate problems. I thought that's something that all men, if you live long enough, you're going to have the problems. And I didn't think there was much I could do about it. I tried saw palmetto and the things they advertise on TV,
But
but it got,
let me break in here, because we want to get to what happened with your testosterone levels. And because this is going to be significant when we're going to flip this in a second and go right into all the advantages. So your testosterone levels, when you were checked, was like they weren't even there. They barely showed up.
that's exactly right. And
so it was a very, you were tired, didn't have muscle tone. Of course, you were overweight. And then you found the X39. So let's give boom, boom, boom. What happened with your knee and your hip pain? The pain went from what to what?
it went from a 9 to 4.5, maybe some days 5, but mostly the pain was cut in half, and I could live with that. So I was able to quit taking 3 expensive pain medications. Most days I was taking them 3 times a day.
And I know this is fantastic what's going to be showing up. And then your diabetes, the doctor told you that just 2 weeks ago, you're not diabetic anymore, you're pre-diabetic because he took blood tests. And then your liver enzymes, which were very high, are all normal. Is that correct?
Yes. And just
And
an
and then I
example of
just
the
have to,
X39.
I know. And then you had a retracing and both your legs started hurting real bad. And it was in places that you'd never had pain before. And because you had seen a video on one of the podcasts, you understood it was retracing and you went through that. And so now in 3 days, folks, I'm just kind of giving a quick synopsis of this, is that all his neuropathy is gone. It's not returned. His
Amen.
brain fog is gone. He no longer is worrying about that. And he's not needing to rush to the bathroom. And now he's sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night.
And a beautiful sleep.
Yes. And there's, and he's off those medications. So I want to thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank Annie.